Ready to save hundreds of thousands of dollars on your Maximo App Point upgrade? So maybe you've been thinking about upgrading from the current user model to App Points, haven't pulled the trigger. Maybe you've gotten some quotes and they're mind-blowing. Anywhere in there, if you want to save some real money, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, listen to me. I'm going to show you how you do it. So if you've been involved in this process at all yet, you've probably heard about the IBM Magic Scripts that the sales guys ask you to run. They were written by a guy at IBM. They're actually pretty good. They do a lot of detailed digging in there. And they go in and they spit out a number and say, based upon your users and their roles, you have probably are going to need this many app points, all right? And again, pretty good. However, what the Magic Scripts don't do is they don't get into the details of what the user's activity actually is, how much they're actually using things like their write access. Are they really getting into the apps that they have access to? And I also don't look at the security groups. Do the security groups have what seem to be reasonable flag set access levels? And what we do at Banetti is we go well beyond what those Magic Scripts are doing. We dig in deep. We dig into what the users are actually doing. We dig into what the access rights with each of the security groups is. And then we're able to come back and present you with an assessment of what your users should really look like, what their access should be, and what the new security group model should be based upon actual usage. So you're wondering, well, what is this? An example. So it's a common thing that within security groups, somewhere somebody ticked that flag that says they can post to the bulletin board. Sounded like a good thing. Well, guess what? IBM considers that an admin level feature. So in the App Point world, the limited user is the lowest level user. So that's the least expensive. You click that bulletin board box and they go up to the most expensive user immediately. Then that user group security group starts getting added to a bunch of users, and now you've just blown up the budget. So simple things like that can make a big difference. Now let's bring this home. So a large enterprise customer of ours with a couple dozen sites recently had us come in $25K assessment. And we went in and spent a few weeks digging through all of those user logs, all of the security groups, analyzing them. Then we sit down with the customer, we walk through what we've seen, we walk through the recommendations, the customer accepts some of them, modifies some. At the end of the day, this particular customer got the Magic Script results, and that was looking at 900 plus app points. So these app points retail at $2,300 each. So at 900 points, you're over $2 million in app points at retail. Now, when we got done with what the customer decided that they wanted to land at, where they felt safe, they were right at 500 app points. We reduced this by 400 app points. So 400 app points, $920,000 reduction. So 25K assessment, $920,000 return. Take me to Vegas, baby. That's amazing all day long. And it was a few weeks worth of work. It's unbelievable. So if you're looking at the upgrade to app points, or you've been thinking about it, you had sticker shock, you couldn't believe what it cost, maybe it doesn't really take that much. There might be a much better option out there. People just weren't looking at it the right way for you. So how many app points do you need when you're moving from Maximo 7.6 to the application suite? That's a great question. And unfortunately, it's not just straight math. And IBM has some tools out there to help assist in this. But at the end of the day, it is a very complex question and a complex assessment to get you to the answer. And that's somewhere that Banetti excels. Why? Because we understand where to look. We understand what the levers are that you have control over and how to optimize this for you. As an example, one of our current enterprise customers in the process recently was looking at, according to the IBM Magic Scripts, which IBM provides to give you an estimate, they were looking at just over 900 app points to represent what their current user profiles were. And After we got in there, and this is a 25K assessment, after we got in there, spent 3 weeks with them going through things, digging into the data, analyzing it, presenting the results, and then massaging it with them to fit where they felt they were comfortable, it cut them down to right at 500 app points, so 400 app point cut. And at $2,300 in app point list price, that's $920,000 in savings. So a 25K investment generated over $900,000 in reduction in cost to make that move to app points. So, don't just accept the number you get at top line. Don't assume it was the best value assessment. I'm not saying it was a bad assessment, but it was assessment that was limited in scope to what you have currently defined, and assuming that was the best definition going forward. We don't think that's fair to assume that. We understand how things used to work in 7.6, and with the change in the model in mass, you got to reassess this. You have to kind of take a ground up relook at it, and by doing that, again, 25K in and $920,000 return for this particular customer. So we want to help you save that kind of money. Why is this app point conversion so confusing? I know what I had for my users in Maximo 7.6. I want to go to the application suite, and this is confusing. So the reason it's confusing, for a couple reasons. Number one, the structure of what the user levels are and what's included has changed. So even if they was still in the user model, there's a shift there of what you get at each user level. So that makes things a little bit wonky and different. Then also, the app point model is more of a pooled model. So I have a pool of points. I use some while I'm actively in the system. They go back into the pool for someone else to use when I'm out of the system. So there are two different things going on there, and there are still dedicated users, those authorized users who always have points as well. So there are a couple different flavors there, but that makes it complicated. And so when the average IBM sales guy comes to help you with this, he knows it's complicated. She knows this is complicated. And so they're going to say, hey, we got these magic scripts that were written by this guy inside IBM, and they're really good. And they're going to help us give an idea how many app points you need. And they are written pretty darn well. That's true. And it will give you an idea. However, they stop short of fully analyzing all of those aspects that you need to take a fresh look at because of the structural differences. And hey, we're happy to help you get that done and get that upgrade done. So you want to talk more about this? Email us, upgrade@banetti.com. Give us a call if you like, comment below, get ready with Banetti.